Hello, and welcome to the Straight to the Source podcast. I'm Tawnya Bahr.
And I'm Lucy Allen, and we're looking forward to taking you straight to the source of the people driving our food and hospitality industry forward.
Today's episode is proudly brought to you by our friends at Unox Australia, industry leaders in cutting-edge kitchen technology and innovation. Today's guest is Chef Andy Ashby, the fearless force behind C'est Bon restaurant in Brisbane. Best known for bold French flavors and mentoring the next generation of chefs. Get ready to hear Andy's story. He's incredibly driven and passionate about the hospitality industry, and he is ready and motivated to get his voice heard. Hello, Andy. How you doing?
Well, always well. Sun shining, got out of bed, a belly full of fire, and ready to go. The spaces we have here, we're so diversified in the offerings. We've got a beautiful cellar room, got a rooftop bar, got a terrace, we've got a wine bar as well. So magnitude of offerings on the go. So we push on, persevere.
You haven't always lived in Brisbane.
I haven't always been in Brisbane. The previous state I lived in before was Sydney with Nellie Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing chef, still running very strong there, and taught me all about all things tasting menu as he does. Before then, I was on Hamilton Island. I didn't get much sun, as you can see, but that's fine. That's fine. That's the English blood in me. And that was at Qualia on Hamilton Island there. Again, an incredible setup. It holds a really big piece of my heart. That's where I met my lovely wife, my events coordinator in the business, and so many great memories on the big rock, we call it. We got island fever. We needed to get off, but it is what it is. Before then, Melbourne. Melbourne was the food mecca. This was going back about 12 or so years ago. And the GOAT himself, the big man, Scott Pickett, we all know him, we all love him. I was at the point there for up to 2 years. And again, a great experience. I was hustled and bustled through it. And I was actually kicked out of New Zealand. Not in a bad way. I never did anything bad, but my lovely dear friend Steve Kelly, who's in the hospitality industry still in Napier, New Zealand, he said, "Look, the grass is greener in Australia." And this was when gold and everything was going crazy, and the economy was better anyway. And he said, "You got to get out, and you got to go to Melbourne. Just don't stay in New Zealand. Like, you're just not gonna." He just saw a spark in me, and he goes, "Well, I want you to stay, but for the benefit of your own well-being, you've got to go." So that's how I sort of made that transition. But from that, I was working at a bistro in a place called Palmerston North, and I was an apprentice. And then stripping it right back at my school time, I was a baker. I was a dishie. I was on the fast food train as well for a little bit there, as all chefs and hospo legends have been. And it sort of just created that foundation of why I started cooking. And I think because of the family values, my grandmother's passion in feeding the family, it stemmed from not being so crazily good at academically at school. So I would go to home economics, and that was my safe haven, and trying to outbeat a lot of the classmates and make better product and making people smile was sort of what I wanted to pursue. And it takes time to find your craft and what you really want to put your heart and soul into. But once you find it and you get an inkling for it, you got to run with it and keep the fire burning. And that's still to this day, it's still burning. So I'm lucky.
Well, let's go back to how old were you when you started in the fast food joint or the bakery?
Yeah, so I think I was just coming on 17. I had a piece of paper thrown at me from my home economic teacher. Maybe that was her way of saying, you're done, get out of my class. You caused too much ruckus in here. But it was almost like a golden ticket of an application to do City and Guilds as an apprenticeship whilst being able to study at the same time. So that was that inkling to go in and get my life sorted. And I had to find out quickly because my my family had just separated, and that's totally fine. Love them both. But I needed to then grow up mentally, and I needed to go, right, I've got to pay bills. I've got to be a bit more independent here. And, I had the cheapest rents, 33.333 recurring. Loved it. Never going to see that again. We all know that, but that's totally fine. Live out their little teenage years and get that out of the system. But at the same time, I was going through an apprenticeship, and I was very devoted to making sure I could do the best of my ability, because it was cutthroat. There's more apprentices around, and if you weren't there on time and you weren't showing up with your game face on, then you're out the door type thing. And it taught me a lot. And I believe in the scheme, and I've had multiple apprentices in Sibon at current. And it's something that I feel that the government should be applying more to help these young cooks get into the kitchen.
Let me ask you this. When you were an apprentice, what was your late night snack? And what is your late night snack now?
Late night snack. Oh, look, Kiwi at heart. I'm a Weet-Bix kid. And that's controversial in its own entirety, of course. But look, give me a good bowl of Weet-Bix, a good banana and a bit of yogurt, and I'm a happy camper. But after going to Japan and doing a little bit of stints over there, look, if I had a quick bowl of ramen, a little bit upgraded from a Weet-Bix there in the fridge, I would be definitely tended to go that way. But yeah, it's just so quick, so convenient, and it probably doesn't sit too well when you sleep. But anyway, it's still an easy one to go to. And everyone's like, "Oh, noodles," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's not me. It's more a bit of cereal."
Yeah. Well, when you talk about apprentice, internally in your venue now, you have quite a program that you've developed yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're really proud of it. It's I want to evolve it. I want to get more businesses amongst it and try and create this aura around helping this industry glow and get better. I'm not saying it's that outrageously out of control, but we've got systematical problems that we need to 100% fix within the system. So I can't be everywhere. I've got to make sure my lights stay on. Thank God they are. And I've got to keep my my venue running. So we're constantly doing these ones, and I think sustainability and keeping that family environment and their core values in your business is true to my heart, and it's who I am. So this program called Practice What You Preach was developed probably about 4 years ago now, and it was a diversified program that's branched off Queensland Ice Institution, TAFE, and Le Cordon Bleu. We get these lovely students in, and I would say, right, once you're employed and you've done your paperwork, I'll sign you off. Then you're going to work with the business. You're here for 6 months. Then I'm going to give you an opportunity. And they go, "Oh, what's that? What's that? More money?" Someone will be like, "Money straight away?" And I'm like, "No, money comes to those that wait." And we sort of, there's a program on that side that we work through. However, this opportunity is about your growth and retention. I asked them, "Could you open a business tomorrow? Is it that easy?" Because as if it is, well, I mean, more business would be open, right? And they'll be, no, a lot of them was like, no. There was just one kid that was like, "Yeah, it's easy. My family's loaded." And I was like, okay, well, that's the wrong mentality, but we'll put you to the side, dude, my friend. But a lot of them said no. They got given the fundamentals and TAFE and that, and they sort of rushed through the door a little bit to become a chef, a glorified chef. And I was like, well, no, you got to earn your stars and stripes. How about I tell you and teach you how we set up the model of doing an event? How much does it cost to actually open the back door? How much does insurance cost? How much does gas cost? How much does the land tax cost? All these things that a lot of chefs or even front of house, they just don't know. They just think that it's a money tree, and sometimes you just shake it and money falls off.
Yeah.
So when we sort of pull it back and we go through our P&Ls and we invite a lot of the senior chefs to actually look at this and control food costs, etc., we sort of stimulate the brain and get them to understand that small business concept of how hard it actually is. So my idea was to nurture them, give them an opportunity to explore that, and then get locals on board, get our events team involved, get my marketing director involved, look at our demographic of audience of who we're going to target for that night, why we don't get 8:30 seatings in Brisbane because no one likes to go out that late, and we've got more people going to bed by 9 type thing than Melbourne and Sydney. But then fill the seats. And how many covers do you want to do? What are we doing for the wet sales, etc.? So there was a lot to open up. It's like Pandora's box, and we know it, but they don't. To what extremity did they really know how to do a function. So I gave them the opportunity, and I said, right, if you do this and you're going to take some pride, some ownership, I'm going to be your kitchen hand. I'm just here to make sure the place doesn't burn down as well for insurance and purposes.
Yeah.
And I'll come out, I'll introduce you to your lovely audience, and I want you to do a quick little speech on who you are and what this menu means to you. So again, taking more ownership, getting them in front of the customer audience, because it's super critical now in this industry, I feel. And then they would put their own hard graft in. They'll be working on Sundays. The day before, they'll be like, some of them were sleeping here. And I was like, well, we don't need to do that. But okay, if you're feeling a little bit nervy and on edge, that's totally fine. And I said to them, right, if you fill it and we look at the breakdown costs and you make some profit out of it, you keep the profit. Why? Because for me, I'm doing a marketing exercise and I'm supporting my own business and getting a really good, heartfelt story out to the community of what I'm trying to achieve and give back to the industry that I'm heavily involved with. And for the gentleman, it just gives them that little nudge to go even harder, to pull things down a little bit, talk to producers, growers, suppliers, say, hey, if you give me, that strip line for X amount of dollars, I'm going to give you 2 tickets and to my event type thing. So that little bartering comes in there a little bit cheekily as well. And that sense of ownership, and then going, well, I can tick that one off, and Andy's going to certify that if I ever left this venue. And I think that's super important. And it also, to me, signified that some of these guys were just not chasing tens to thousands of dollars more than what they're actually worth at that point in time in their career. And that's, I think we've got to get back to that core value of what is this industry about.
Exactly. So how has that been received by the public? And how is that different from your current venue offering?
Great question. So well received. We have a lot of local support for these type of events. We've got a beautiful event coming up with Maxwell Winery, a good friend of mine from the Rock, Hamilton Island, and that's going to be just a bit of fun. That's internal. That's run by me, but our locals, they'll just click it straight away. We can see it in our EDMs. We can see it in our catch files when our locals go, great, sign us up, bang, 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 bang. And these people have been coming through Sebon and supporting all these events from when we first opened. So that captured data and audience is getting stronger. And it's also it's just teasing them with what's next. What is he going to do next? What is he going to throw at us next? Like, jeepers, this guy can't stop doing collabs and all these type of things. But for the team, in terms of day-to-day operation, they're still then taking away from that practice what you preach program and then engaging on being able to sort of puff up the shoulders a little bit more and go, well, I'm doing my mise-en, but I can actually, I've got a brand between here and I can actually think of dishes too. And I can sort of bring something creative to chef and we can talk about it as a team, and then we can potentially get something on the menu. So that's another step in itself. As a young chef, CDP, or it could be a demi, taking some ownership of it might be a new entree or something. So there's some more ownership there. The cheeky thing though was I had a young apprentice said, okay, well, we've done that. What's next? I'm like, come on, let's just get through Christmas and then I will think of it when I'm on my little break and then we'll talk about it. But I had to think of what's next. And honestly, I sent her away to Melbourne. And she, the business paid, put her up in accommodation. I said, you're doing a STARS program. You're still going to get paid salary from us, but you're going to go and learn. So I teamed her up with the Scott Pickett group, but then she went to Ian Curley, good friend of mine, and put her up in French Saloon. And that was her, oh, wow, this is really humbling. This is really cool because you don't really see a lot of these stagiaires happen as much. So that was like stage 2. She's still here, which is fantastic because she's an absolutely lovely young lady. And she's like, well, done that. What's next? So I'm just like, so it's an evolution. We're building another venue. So there's a huge program there, but also we're doing a collaboration in South Australia. So I'm taking her along with me there. So
brilliant.
There's always these things coming up through the industry, but you still got to be humble to what we need to have here as a foundation too. So yeah.
If there's listeners that are venue operators and they want to learn more about Practice What You Preach, this program that you put together, can they just reach out to you? Because it sounds fantastic.
Oh, 100%. I have the policy that my door's always open, the coffee machine's always on, and if it's after 5, the glass of wine's can be at your table. And I did an interview on ABC Radio here in Brisbane with a lovely gentleman, Steve Austin, and he asked me a similar question. He goes, well, and this is on the other side of the fence, talking about immigrational policies and where are we in terms of that push and pull. And he goes, well, if federal or state government were to hear anything today, and I don't know how big his audience is, and he's a bit of a superstar apparently, what would you want? And I said, well, I can't get out to see them. I can't lobby. I don't have money up the wazoo to give away to some organisations that want it before you can actually have a talk, which I don't agree on. But I tell you what, my door's open Tuesday to Saturday. Come on in. Phone's always on. Coffee machine's on. Glass of wine's at your table. I kid you not, within 24 hours, I had the shadow minister of schools and training of federal government.
No way.
Yep. Sitting here.
Brilliant. And so walk us through your conversation, will you?
It was, he's a very direct man, down to earth. He understood where I was coming from. He liked the deliverance of the passion and what I'm trying to achieve. We spoke about the limitations on part-time studying foreigners. And I said, well, my makeshift, my business is 80% foreign. And I'm proud of that. I'm still partially a foreign as well, but I call Australia home too. And we sort of looked at why is it still not working? And why can't we, we're in 2025, why are we, all the new budgets are out and everything, and now Albanese's in the government. Anyway, why are we not lobbying to fix these problems? Because foreigners make up a massive makeshift of this industry, and that's what it is. So to restrict them to 24 hours a week is just disheartening, because Brisbane is now most expensive state in the whole of Australia to rent, and with a shortage as well. How can you put food in your mouth, pay for your tuition, and put a roof over your head for 24 hours a week?
That's it.
So he said to me, he goes, well, what would be your threshold? And I said, I can't speak. I can only speak on the model that I've got. And I said, minimum of 30 hours for the foreigners that are working in the business would be better, because come 24 hours and we've got a busy function on the rooftop or something, I'm like having to ring a bell going, mate, you got to get out of there, because I don't want to, we have 2 accountants and we are not messing with the law here. And I shouldn't have to worry about that. I should have to worry about looking after my guests and my employees. So that was one part of it. And then, look, we briefly touched on secondary tax. And I think that's an important one that they need to change. So we need to get more Australians up out of bed and into the job sector. But if you're going to get taxed at 50 cents off every dollar, are you going to get out of bed, or are you going to get the additional support from the government? So that's just something that we sort of touched by. It's not a legislator or something, but I believe, he goes, what do you think of that? And I said, well, I believe that that's a strong change we need to make for both foreign and Australian citizens, because I believe that will drive more workforce into the industry. And then I think we need to support the apprenticeship scheme a lot better. And an apprentice these days, that will be level 1, why are they getting paid the same amount as a CDP? I just don't get that. I said, we've all started from the bottom to get where we are, and we all pay from the fair work and everything, but there can't be this jump, because people were thinking, well, why should I do that? So there was that. And then the last thing was more or less people turning their nose away from this industry because they believe that it's just more of a hobby and a passion project than an actual a job and a career move. And how do we get people to invest in this career path a lot more than what it has been in the last 5 to 10 years? And I was speaking to chefs and owners this morning, and they're throwing their hands in the air going, where are they all? Come on, like we are going to go into the busiest time of the year, and we've got shortages left, right and centre. I've got a good friend of mine at Bloom Restaurant. He still has his mum help him out in the kitchen, which is a great story, but he's a destinational restaurant and he can't get people out there. So there's this magnitude of problematic problems, but through that, I said to it, he goes, oh, why do you keep doing it? It's like, because I love my customers and I love what I've created here with my family, and I don't think I could do a desk job or anything else. That's just my makeshift of who I am. And I love seeing smiles on people's faces, whether it's a guest experience from the front or it's a chef that's just learned something and he's happy for me to sign off his book and he says, thank you so much. I can't wait to be back here tomorrow. Those are feel-good stories that we should be portraying to the media and newspapers. Then all this negativity about this sector, and we know things happen behind the scenes and it needs to be dealt with severely, totally. But doesn't just happen in hospitality. It happens in all sectors, and we need support of feel-good stories more than ever, I believe. And if I can chuck my face on social media and tell someone I'm handshaking a farmer because I've just got the best pork in Queensland or the best fish from Akuna, and I feel that shows representation of who I am and what I'm trying to achieve. And I think the media need to grab on those stories and run with them.
It's really understanding your why, don't you think?
100%.
It is understanding your why, and you clearly do. And when you talk about Akuna, I think you were going to say Akuna Murray cod in the Riverina, perhaps, supporting Australian farmers and producers. And I know you go out to farms, and we here at Straight to the Source have been doing that, for 14 years, taking chefs out to farms and factories and understanding the value proposition and what goes into the ingredients that come in, to our kitchens.
It's so critical now more than ever. And, we are having to barter a little bit more than what we realistically should. I am the only purchaser and controller in the restaurant because obviously I pay all the outgoings, but it's not because I can't trust my staff, but some suppliers are very cheeky. They'll add $4 there, and then tomorrow it's $10 more type thing. So I've got to look at that as variables across the line for business. I wish we had a Queen Vic market in Brisbane. I really would lobby for that for the tourism board because we've got the Olympics coming up. We've got a growing state. But if I had that, I would go and support the markets and go in and grab my produce and drive back to my venue and away we go again type thing. And that, again, is those heartfelt stories, etc. But as an owner-operator, you cannot be everywhere. You cannot. Yeah. It's physically impossible to strip yourself that bare and not still live a normal life and enjoy this wonderful world. But where we can have those touch points and those stories, we'll always gravitate to them. The crab from Mooloolaba and seeing the family to the quail farm and going up there and taking the staff and scaring them a little bit. Or we just recently made our own beer, our own saison on Stradbroke Island, and I took half the staff over there.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, and those things that also the loyal customers feed off as well. So it's still a great industry to be a part of, and I just want to spread that word even more.
We're so proud to be in the hospitality industry and to have a voice and to be able to inspire others. But it's not always easy. And it is something that collectively, whether you're a supplier, a farmer, a grower, owner, operator, when we were talking earlier, you were talking about embracing collaborations and understanding the role that plays in our businesses. And technology plays a big role in that too. And cooking equipment.
Totally agree on all those things. I think just touching on the collaboration part, I like doing it because I like sharing the stories with other chefs in different states, or if I go back home to New Zealand, I've got a couple coming up even in Indonesia as well for a bit of fun with French restaurants over there. But I think we need to be passing on the problematical problems to find solutions within our own state and our own backyard. Mm-hmm. It's not about whose recipe is better than whose, because at the end of the day, we're all in it to put bums on seats to make sure that the roof stays on and the lights stay on. And again, those feel-good stories and that camaraderie that comes out of it. And I think if I didn't do it in my own kitchen brigade, wouldn't really enjoy just that day-to-day activity. They were always thinking, what's next? What are we doing next? So that motivational push to do more. It takes a lot of hard graft, as you know, to set up collaborations. But it's an important makeshift of the business and one that we're very blessed to be a part of and getting involved with.
Can you give us some sort of idea of opportunities that you've made happen within your business that have helped the business?
Yeah, great one there. And so you can stay in the four walls and just stay straight and go, right, well, this is all too hard basket and, everything's imploding around us. or you can sort of think outside the box. And I mean, yes, it's always been a little bit of a Kiwi pun to think outside the box in a French restaurant. But we did that. We had to diversify the business and think fast. And I'm very blessed to have amazing business partners with me. And we then teamed up with Peugeot car dealership, incredible French cars. And the reason so is in that pandemic time, we're thinking, well, you've got Uber Eats, you've got delivery, all these programs running, and they're all going, well, my commission's X, Y, Z. And I'm like, well, no one's making $1 here, buddy. Like, we are literally, trying to put roofs over people's heads. So I rang up Peugeot out of the blue. I think it might have been on Instagram text message. And I said, what are you doing with your cars right now? Like, you're not selling any. We're in a pandemic. We can stay open because we're naturally next to the Mater Hospital here. So we've got 8,500 people in there that are doing emergency care. So we've got the front sorted. But if I could take 2 vehicles, run them in a 10K radius, and we'll come. We'll go around with our chef whites on. Don't mind that. FPOS machine in one hand, to make payments. Hot food in the other. There's less variables because I know it's come literally straight from the source. There we go. And straight to the consumer. And we did that for, it feels like a blur, but we did that for a good, strong 4 to 6 months and created that feel-good story. Yes, it got reach on the media outlets, etc. But it showed 2 diverse French partnerships coming together and reaching and exploring the customer. And then the customer's gone, oh, my God, that was incredible. When you're open again, we're going to come and support you. So it was just this awesome revolving wheel. It was just incredible to be a part of. I remember doing Mother's Day in the back of a Peugeot van and going, you know what? If you want Mother's Day, we're going to make that happen too. So it was all these ideas and boxes and all these things, but it was just seeing smiles on people's faces on terms of that part of the business model. And that got me thinking, what else can we be doing? There's got to be more out there. So there's been things with Gather. Gather's a big one, a third-party enterprise. But we talk heavily about marketing and showcasing your business and getting involved. Like, you cannot, as a chef owner, be there everywhere. So you need to have different touch points and people, testimonials on your business, etc. We work with Gather because they find us corporate clients. Might be a new watch has been launched or a new car dealership needs X, Y, Z. So that's marketing within marketing. So that's good coverage point. We teamed up with Queensland Reds, so we sponsor the Queensland Reds, which is a huge one. And people go, well, do you do that just because you're Kiwi and you love rugby, or what was the adaptation about that? And I said, well, think of it like this. So we put a sponsorship agreement in place of X, Y money, and then they have to spend that back in the business within a turnaround, annual turnarounds. But also they give us exposure to a magnitude of EDM database that we're allowed to be a part of. And then we'll look at the return of investment from that. So there's channeling in to get more corporates and more tourism boards. We've had amazing people from Brett Clark. We used to have Eddie Jones, who's probably not allowed back in the country anymore. But we've had, great people come through the door, a part of that aspects of the business model. And then we're sort of on other things. We've done, oh my God, done events at the ballet. We've been at farmers' houses. We're just sort of like, I feel like a seedling going, right, we've got to go out. And I feel as a small business owner, you have to look at what else is out there. If you're a restaurant alone and just going, well, I've got a 30-seater restaurant, I need to fill these seats and I know my expense per head and I know that, but it's winter now and it's cold. How are you going to keep the lights on? It just doesn't happen.
Well, that's also seizing opportunities and creating opportunities. You mentioned the other day actually about Wayne Viles.
Good. How can I can't forget Wayne. No, Wayne is an absolute legend, a scholar, the goat in the industry. He is, wow. Well, it all draws back to literally an Instagram message to Unox. Best commercial oven we've ever had in my whole entire career, to be honest. And I said, right, Wayne, we've got a rationale. He goes, well, I'm going to fix that. I go, because I don't know you from a bar of soap, mate. But yeah, sure. Let's next time you're busy, come in for a coffee. I'll put the kettle on. And he came in. We had a chat.
Excuse me,
Sorry.
Andy. Did you give him an option for a wine as well, or just the
Oh,
coffee?
he was an early. Well, we've had plenty of wines, but he was an early morning man, and he goes, right, we're here. We're going to have a little chat. I just want you to talk to me about who you are and what you are and where we're going. I said, right, no problems. And he goes, I like you. And I said, well, I'm married, but that's fine. I like you too, mate. And I think we just clicked. He's a very inspirational man, a very heartfelt man, and the way he treats the Unox brand and the team is a very similar model to how I envision my business to be and it is. And he goes, right, got to get you some ovens. I said, what? Sorry? He goes, no, I want you to try the Chef Top X. It's going to be incredible. And I want your feedback. And if anything's wrong with it, you talk into the oven and the guys in Italy will fix it for you. And I was like, what the hell? I said, this sounds like an Elon Musk product gone wrong. And no, true to his word, he got me the ovens in and they've been incredible. I honestly, the chef top eggs has saved me a lot of probably labor, but also it's got this new mode. He rang me up the other day when we introduced each other, and he goes, "Oh, have you tried the cold smoker?" And I was like, "What do you want about, mate?" No, it's only got hot smoke setting. He goes, "Oh no, I updated it last. Someone from Italy updated it last night. Click this button, and now you can cold smoke in the oven."
Brilliant.
You are great, mate. Sarah, like you are just incredible. But he's had dinners in our cellar here, and him and the team, Milos, etc. Just real advocates of an industry that we work in. And there are great people out there. And to be able to team up just from a spur of the moment conversation and asking. And my motto is still to this day is if you don't ask, you don't know.
That's
it. Yeah, as simple as that. Yep.
Yep. Oh, mate. Well, congratulations on all that you've achieved in your career and where you're going. And we so love getting to know you and being able to kind of be with you and observe you on this journey. But before we wrap up, can we do a little quick fire?
Absolutely.
Questions?
Love it.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Signature dish in one word.
Savory creme brulee.
Okay. Sweet, salty, sour, or umami?
Umami.
Underrated Aussie ingredient.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. We've had all those native ingredients. Oh, to be honest, red claw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite kitchen. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it needs to be celebrated more. You know, Queenslanders are known for red claw. Mm.
Okay. I like that one. All right. Early morning or late night?
It's hard to wind down after a pressured service. So I go to the gym straight after work. 24-hour gym. Thanks for them, and kick it out because I know that if I don't, I'm going to be wired for an hour and my wife's going to tell me off.
And if you weren't chefing, what would you be doing, Andy?
Oh my word. I've been asked this 2 or 3 times because they're saying, "Oh, you're getting old and you're on in your age." I'm like, "Well, not that old, but thank you." What would you do if you weren't here? One person said I should be a sales rep because I could sell snow to an Eskimo, and I was like, okay. But I think my passion is always in the industry, and maybe I'd look to doing food photography and sort of just I want to stay in with it. And if I couldn't do it, if I had an injury of a leg or something like that, I'll find a way still to be a part of it.
To be connected to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Wonderful. Well, Andy, thank you so much for being on the Straight to the Source podcast.
If this conversation sparks something in you, please share it, talk about it, and consider how your plate can be part of the solution. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time with more real talk from the change makers shaping Australia's food future.
Today's episode is proudly brought to you by our friends at Unox Australia, industry leaders in cutting-edge kitchen technology and innovation.